Hey gang, Scott Meyers here. Today we're going to be talking about self-storage leases, what to include in them and how to protect yourself, as well as some of the gotchas that you may find and that I'm seeing that people are, operators and owners are misusing out there in the field. So here's a couple of tips to keep you out of hot water. First of all, when it comes to your self-storage facility lease, don't borrow one. Don't borrow one from somebody. Don't download one from the internet if you don't know where it came from. There are specific laws, state-specific laws for each individual state, and you need to adhere to those, and those need to be written into your lease. Best place to go and purchase your lease for your self-storage facility is at the Self-Storage Association in the state in which you're operating your facility. They will know all of the laws as it pertains to running your facility in that particular state. Secondly, in your lease, within your lease, do not create a bailment and in the operations of your facility. What does a bailment mean? That means that you have control over the tenant's goods, the client's goods, and what they're storing there. The beauty of self-storage is that we don't create a bailment. In other words, the tenant, our client, has sole access to their unit. We don't have keys, we can't get in, so don't ever take the keys for the boat, the RV, for their unit themselves, because once you do so, guess what? You just created a liability because now you have access to their unit. Should something happen to it, you put yourself in a position where you had access to it and you can be blamed for that. Third, don't store or allow people to store things that don't belong in self-storage. And that means the obvious, which are flammable goods, fireworks and things of that nature. But I'm talking more about the things that could really get damaged and that are irreplaceable. Books are not a good thing to store there, especially if they're old and they have value to it. Anything that is considered an heirloom, that is irreplaceable, that could get damaged by humidity, by temperature, by fire, anything along those lines, they shouldn't be storing it in there to begin with. Fourth, don't overcharge for late fees. I see so many owners out there that have a progressive late fee like we have in apartments and single-family homes. Don't do it. Don't do it in self-storage because you find that you have a hard time reinforcing that, and you may get into trouble in your state, within your state laws for doing so. Charge your late fee and charge it once and one time only. When they're late, they're late. That's it. And five, watch your words. There's a lot of misused words out there in the industry that people throw around to try to, because they think it's attractive and it'll bring people in. I see it on folks' websites, in their yellow page advertising, as well as, in the manager stating these things when a potential client walks into the office. One of them is free. Free move-in, free this, free that. Well, if you're building in administration fees and some other junk and garbage fees in there on the back end, you may get called out on that. And it may be misleading, and you may have yourself in some hot water with the Attorney General or somebody else down the line. Surveillance and monitoring. This is also one that is very, very misused, and I think misleading for a lot of folks. Most people don't know the difference between surveillance and monitoring, and so they just put it up and they paint it on signs and put it outside of their facility. Surveillance means that you have a surveillance system, a digital video recording system that has motion sensor cameras and a computer dedicated to surveillance for the facility. Monitoring, however, that means that somebody is sitting there monitoring those cameras 24/7 to see if something is going on at the facility, and those are very misused, so make sure that you don't use monitoring if you don't have it, or surveillance if you don't have it as well. I've seen facility owners that have glued a little plastic camera on the side of their buildings and stated that they had video monitoring at their facilities. Don't do it, because if something happens, guess what? You're in a heap of hot water. Dry and fireproof. You can't guard against condensation, you can't guard against humidity and what kind of damage that can cause, and nothing is absolutely fireproof. Nothing is absolutely fireproof, so don't advertise that. Then also, safe, secure, anything that says fortress-like or best. That's a really arbitrary term, and if something should happen to their goods in the meantime, if you have to stand up in court and answer to a jury, the judge, and or an attorney, you'd have a hard time stating that you said that this is extremely secure or fortress-like, and when in all actuality, it truly wasn't, and something happened to their goods. So those are just a few of the tips and the gotchas to include in your lease to protect yourself. So if this has been helpful for you would-be self-storage owners, and those of you that are already in the business and you'd like more information on how to both invest in and successfully run a self-storage facility, I invite you to visit our website, www.selfstorageinvesting.com. Sign in for our 30-day trial to the Millionaires Club if you have not joined that already, or download my free report on the blueprint for success in self-storage. So with that, this has been Scott Meyers with selfstorageinvesting.com, signing off.